Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hello, welcome to the show. What's happening, y'all? So I'm going to do this podcast. We're going to see how it goes. It's been interesting. I had an intention of recording a different podcast, and I tried it yesterday, and then something came up and it just didn't work out where I couldn't record it. So I just stopped and went with what was happening. And then today I hopped back on to record this one, and the yesterday's was still up there with the title because I was going to record it. And I said, I'll do that one, and then maybe I'll do this one second. And I started recording, and something else happened where I couldn't record that one. I'm like, okay, I get it. You don't want me to record that one for some reason. So we're gonna try this one. This one is about spiritual change and what that looks like. And a lot of times when I'm talking about change, any type of change, self-growth change, spiritual change, stuff like that. I remind people often that change takes place in a space, right? It's rarely flip a switch. That can happen if you drop into alignment just spontaneously. And it happens sometimes. Sometimes spiritual awakenings are like that. Satori's are like that sometimes, where it's just this boom, everything just drops in. Sometimes they're huge shifts, sometimes they're smaller epiphanies, but that can happen. But for the most part, change happens throughout the space. So you're one way 100% of the time or close to it, and you want to be a different way. Well, you have to bridge that gap. You have to walk the path in between there. So, it could look like, let's say you go through a change over a few months. Well, in the beginning, like I said, you're 100 or 90% one way and 0% another way, or maybe 10%. And then you start working on the change and you're like 70% and 30% the other way. And then 50-50, and then it shifts over where you're 70% the new way and 30% the old way. And then, maybe you get to 90 or 100% the new way or something. So the reason that's important is the self-judgment we have against ourselves is very strong. And one of the biggest things that I've seen over the last 22 years of my own growth, my own process, and working with others through their process is one of the things that keeps people stuck the most is that when they try implementing change, it'll be right in the forefront of their consciousness when they first start. So they do it well once, twice, 3 times, and then all of a sudden they don't do it well. They revert back to their old way of being out of habit or unconsciousness or something. And they beat themselves up over that. They're like, oh, I don't even know why I bother. I don't even know why I try. Like I did it for a little while, and then here I am right back to where I was. It's like, whoa. That's not how change works. Like you don't go from 0 to 100 just by snapping your finger. Just because you made up your mind. Your mind is the last thing that actually controls your behavior. Our unconscious belief systems, our neural pathways, our not only unconscious, but subconscious belief systems, those drive our behavior way more than our intellect. Most of the time we're unconscious. We're not even using our intellect. We're just reacting to situations. So This is why being mindful and conscious is so important, right? But it very rarely does somebody just all of a sudden be a different way. It takes time. So just because you've done it the right way 3 times and then you've done it the wrong way a 4th time, that's progress. Like if you did something the old way 100 times a month, and then in your first month you do it 70 times a month instead of 100, that's pretty big progress. Then the next month you do it 50 times, then the next month you do it 30 times, the old way, the way that you don't want to. And of course, those depending on the behavior or the change you're thinking of, those could be big numbers. It doesn't matter what the number is. It could be 10 times. Maybe you interact in a particular situation 10 times a particular way per month. And then all of a sudden the next month it's 7 times. Then the next month it's 5 times. And the next month it's 3 times. Like over a few months, you changed how you interact with life. That's beautiful. That's what change looks like. Congratulations. Don't beat yourself up. Just because you did it the old way once or twice doesn't mean that you're all the way back to the start line. That's not what it means. That's not what change looks like. Okay. So that I address quite a bit with my clients, of course. But this podcast it's about spiritual change. So it's about all of this. But the dynamic I wanted to focus a little bit more on is that when we decide to make change, right, usually it's a lot of times it's through suffering. We're not liking the way that our life goes. We're, frustrated or have some epiphany that we could be some other way or something like this. And then we start, we're like, I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna change my career. I'm going to whatever change you're trying to make, right? And you make this decision and you're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be this new way. I'm gonna do this new thing. And a lot of times we put energy towards it, and it doesn't end up happening. Right. And we get really frustrated because we're not seeing the progress that we want to. And that forces us to go through a lot of ups and downs emotionally. We judge ourselves. We start questioning the laws of the universe or God or whatever you believe in. And when you second guess yourself, it knocks your energy off. Like, so you're not putting solid energy straight into what you want to be because you're getting knocked around in the process. You're second guessing it. It doesn't look the way you wanted it to. You start feeling defeated, and it's difficult, and you suffer more. And what I've noticed is that, change comes from within. Change comes from within. And I laugh because I just got a flash of Michael Bernard Beckwith's movie, Spiritual Liberation, which you guys know is one of my favorites. And he's being interviewed in a grocery store at one point in the film. And they start telling jokes. So the interviewer says, "Okay, so what did the what did the monk say to the hot dog vendor? Make me one with everything." And then Michael says, "Wait, but there's another part to that joke. Did you hear it?" The monk asks for change, and the hot dog vendor says, "Change comes from within." It's good to laugh. So yeah, change comes from within. And the external expression of that change comes after we become who we're becoming. Like, we have to become the container in which holds that holds the change. Like, we can't. I think we focus on change from desire, right? I want to be different. I want something different. I want that. I want more income. I want a better relationship. I want. And, a lot of ancient spiritual practices and teachings are about the removal of desire. This is why. Because I want comes from a place of lack. It comes from a place of I don't have, but I wish I did. So we're actually reinforcing the fact that we don't have these things. And then this is how, like, what I call it is keeping score. This is, it's kind of another way to explain what holds people back. Is they'll do a bunch of spiritual stuff. They'll do the inner work, like the visualization, like the affirmations, like the meditations, like the contemplations, all these things to do this inner work. And then they go, oh, are we there yet? No, I don't have what I want yet. That's stupid. Okay, I'll do it more. Are we there yet? All right, I'm not there yet. Okay, I'll do it more. Are we there yet? Like, and it's just like you got to get lost in doing the work. You got to get lost in doing the work and not keeping score. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? It makes the process 10 times longer, just like a kid in a car ride. Like, what makes a car ride longer than sitting there going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Nothing. Like that elongates any car ride better than anything. So we got to stop keeping score and get lost in the work. That's often how I teach it. Don't worry about where you are. Just worry about doing the work. And then all of a sudden one day you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm where I wanted to be. When did that happen? Well, it's partially because you're not keeping score. You're not checking to see where you are all the time, because that holds you, and it can be discouraging. Right. And it's partially because you're just focused on changing you. And then all of a sudden life starts reflecting that change back to you, and you see it and you're like, oh my God, there it is. It worked. Oh my God, that's so cool. It doesn't work if you're going, do I have it yet? That's manipulation energy. And manipulation energy is something that gets it's very manipulative. It's hard to recognize a lot of times. That's why it's manipulation, right? If manipulation was easy to recognize, it wouldn't work very well. And a lot of times manipulation works well because it's hard to see. The harder it is to see, the better it works, right? So manipulation energy is, we're trying to manipulate the universe into giving us what we want. I'll do this work, but it's not because I want to do the work on myself. It's because I want this external thing. And I was told that I need to change myself to get that. So I'll play your little game and I'll pretend that I'm changing so that I get that. But that's what I really want. I really want that thing. I really want that experience. Do I have it yet? No. I don't even know why I bother. Like, that's what keeps us stuck. It's one step forward, two steps back. It's like, we start working on ourselves, and then then we reinforce the fact that we don't have it. We reinforce that, well, not reinforce, but we manipulate, because we're not actually trying to change ourselves. We're only doing it so we get what we want. That's manipulation energy. You can't manipulate the universe. The universe is energy. God is energy. You can't throw manipulation energy at it and expect to get a good result because it just doesn't participate with that. It recognizes it. And so the first time I saw this in myself, like my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, I've been trying to manipulate the universe. This is insane, you know? So that's manipulation energy. We have to get lost in changing ourselves and just do the work for the work itself. We're going to be, no matter what change you're trying to make, if it's through spirituality or self-help or something, like at the end of the day, it's because you're going to be a better version of yourself. That has its own rewards. So just be a better version of you. And all those external things, they'll come. They'll come. Whatever you want will come. But you can't try to make them happen. This is like, everybody, so many people got into spirituality through manifestation ideology. And it's a great doorway into spirituality. It's exposed probably more people to spirituality than maybe anything else. So that's a wonderful thing. However, it's mistaught a lot. It's misunderstood a lot. And if you're into spirituality just to get what you want, you're going to run into some issues. That's not the point of it all. So that is the getting what you want is the external expression of having done the work. So like it or not, you need to change who you are. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people that can manifest through selfish means. There are. You can do it. It's a lot harder. It's a lot less consistent. And you literally lose yourself in the process. You lose who you are. If you learn to manifest for selfish reasons just to get what you want, you'll get what you want, but you're going to be more lost to yourself than when you started. Whereas if you're just focused on working on yourself, then you get what you want and you find yourself in the process. You become the best version of yourself in the process. So you can appreciate it more. You can love yourself and embrace the new things you brought into your life, as opposed to disliking yourself or just being so deluded that you don't even know who you are, or you don't even realize that you're lost. You're going to find out at one point. Like, like some people might drink the Kool-Aid and just start manifesting for the sake of manifesting and getting things. And then they're like, no, I'm happy, man. Like, I was an alcoholic for 20 years. Like, I understand what delusion is. When I'm drinking and partying and destroying my life and hurting relationships with people that I care about and all this stuff going on, and people like, Glenn, maybe you should make some changes. I'm like, screw that, man. I love myself. This is the life I want. This is who I am. This is a load of crap. God doesn't make selfish people. Sorry. He doesn't have a little bucket of selfishness up in heaven. Goes, oh, I'm going to put an extra scoop of this in this person. You can't make a wooden table if you don't have any wood. God doesn't have any selfishness, so he doesn't make selfish people. That's something we figure out on our own. So if we get lost in doing the work and we just change who we are, we change the qualities that we embody, we get to know ourselves better. Then all of a sudden what happens is like, we're so I'm going to take a step back for a moment. what this looks like, okay, is like I said earlier, you're trying to make a change. So you're trying, it's not working too well. You're not getting what you want. You're making a little bit of progress, but you're frustrated, stuff like this. And this can go on for literally a year, 2 years, 3 years. And you keep trying and you're just not quite there and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, at some point, if you are doing the work on you, like if you're just trying to get stuff, it elongates that process. So it takes longer and longer. But uh, sometimes you can do enough work on yourself, even like that, where you eventually become able to shift the energy inside of you. Right. So in the beginning, you're looking at your life, usually your external circumstances, sometimes your internal circumstances, though, and you don't like it and you're frustrated and you're like, no, I'm making a change. So you start trying to make the change and it's not working and it's not working and it's not working. And you try something else and you 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 know you go on another retreat and you take some more ayahuasca or something. Whatever and you try a little more and you try and it still doesn't work and you're frustrated and it still doesn't work. And then all of a sudden what happens is sometimes you'll reach this spot where all of a sudden you let go of all that external desire and frustration, and your insides get calm. And there's a readiness inside of you, and there's a knowingness that your change is coming now. It's not hype. It's the opposite of hype. It's not that hoorah, let's do this. I hate that stuff. This big emotional burst that produces nothing most of the time, because it just if you can ride an emotional wave like that long enough, you can accomplish some stuff, but you're not really doing the internal work. So anyway, yeah, I don't like that hoopla, blowing sunshine up my ass stuff. I like the deep, solid knowingness, the grounded spirituality, the depth. That's where everything really is, right? And that's calm, and it's confident. There's this confident knowingness, readiness that you feel inside of your life, inside of your body. And sometimes sometimes the words you can put to it are, I'm just not living like that anymore. I'm just not willing to live the old way anymore. And we can pretend that we're there, and we often do in the beginning when we're like, I want to change because I don't want to live like this anymore. And then and we try to make the change and we don't really make much ground. And then after a year or two, all of a sudden we're like, and we've been second guessing. Oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Am I going about this right? What am I missing? How come it's not working? We're navigating all that stuff and we keep trying and we work through, and then all of a sudden we land in this place and it's like, oh yeah, I'm not living like this anymore. I'm not living like this anymore. That's ego. It's this surfacey, and we don't even recognize it at first, right? But when you get that deep knowingness later on, after you've gone through those ups and downs and tried and actually made the internal changes, over time inside of yourself, or maybe you've just suffered too much, or I shouldn't say too much, you've suffered enough. Most people think that they've suffered enough when they reach out for help. And I'm telling you, it's A lot of times it's 50-50. A lot of times people got to suffer more before they're really willing to just do it, to really commit themselves to it and do it. A lot of times that takes time. Sometimes people are ready and leap right in. But a lot of times they're not, even though they think they are. And then, the change is slow because they're doing all of what I described. They kind of try, but then they kind of second guess it, but they're trying to manipulate the universe, but they don't know they are. And then you can tell them all this stuff, and it's not going to stop them from going. They just have to get to that internal point all on their own where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and everything slows down and they get out of their head. It's not an intellectual exercise, spirituality or self-growth. It's deeper than that. And once we get out of our heads and playing these little surfacey games of pretending that we're trying to grow and navigating our way around staying stuck as we're pretending to grow, and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, once we get through all that and we're just sitting there and we're just like, oh, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm just good. I'm good with all this. I didn't even realize I was doing all this foolishness. But I feel it inside now. I'm just ready. It's very, very calm and deep. Calm and deep is what we're always looking for in spirituality. Always. It's not, we have these low lows and these depressions and sadness and anger and frustration and all this stuff. But then on the other side, like a lot of times when we pull ourselves out of that, we'll shoot right through our spiritual anchor and we'll go up to this collective high vibration. That high that it's like, oh my God, everything's great. This is awesome. God loves me. And it's this high vibration. It's like you're at an amusement park, Oh my God, no, I can see the essence in a tree now. This is amazing. Like, oh, do you want to go on the Batman ride next? It's like, whoa, slow down. That's not spirituality. I understand it feels good, and you can play with it every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with being excited and happy and joyful and upbeat and all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't confuse it for what you're actually looking for. That's unsustainable. You can't stay there. It's a collective high vibration that you've tapped into, and it's temporary. The calm, solid, deep, grounded spirituality, that is what you can walk through life in. That is what you can have constantly, always, never leaving you. That constant knowingness, knowing this deep, solid, profound, overwhelming knowingness that everything is okay and you are loved, like, and you're safe. Like, that is what we need to be walking through life with, and we can get there. And this is a version of it. It's just a lot of times through spiritual change, we play on the surface and we play with these games, and it's okay to do that, right? I mean, well, let's be fair here. It's okay to kind of do what I just said. So if you're doing it, it's okay. Like, I do it too. It's just, if we bring this awareness in, we'll get better and better at the game. We'll get better and better at the change. And this is, we're looking for that deep, calm knowing. And if you're capable of being honest with yourself, it's hard to BS yourself. As long as you're capable of being honest, like in a calm, truthful state. I mean, we all lie to ourselves to some degree, and we all, rationalize our behaviors and the way we think and where we are. And we think we're ready, but we're really not ready. Like, we all do that. So don't beat yourself up if you are. It's okay. Like, don't judge yourself for it. Just try to be a little bit deeper. And you're not going to get it perfect right away, most likely. And that's okay. So, it's probably going to be an oscillation between kind of BSing yourself and doing the deep work. And you'll get better and better at doing the deep work, right? But if you're calm and you're truthful with yourself and you go, and it's just intellectual, am I ready to change? Am I ready to be this new person? Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't want to live like this. Why would I choose to live like this if I want to live like this? Of course I'm ready. Of course. That's surfacey, man. That's intellect. That's where you can lie to yourself the best, is up in your head. But if you drop down into your body and you get calm and deep and you ask your heart, your torso, your body energy, you ask your body, am I ready? Then you'll probably get either a kinda a kinda answer, or you might get a DPS. Doesn't And even if you get a DPS there, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do it in a deep way, because you can pop right back up into your head and go, okay, look, see, I checked in and I'm ready. I'm ready. I can feel that I'm ready. My soul yearns for this change. I can feel it. Oh, yeah. I am ready to make the change. And then you get out of that energy and jump up into your head and you go, okay, so what can I do different? You lost it, And then, if you, oh, well, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll go to 13 drum circles and 42 sound healings and then I'll do this and I'll do that. And I'll talk to this person, I'll take this course and then I'll be my different person. It's like, it's not going to work like that, because you popped right back up into your head and it became an intellectual exercise. You're not changing the internal you. You're looking for tools that will change the internal you. Only you can change the internal you. Now, I'm not saying any of these tools aren't good. I mean, I love going to a good sound healing. I've had some really profound experiences through those drum circles, all kinds of different things that I've done. Wonderful experiences. It's just, they're just tools, though. They're not the actual thing. They're not actually change. So really, I think it's just, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that on that deep level, this knowingness, this calm matter of fact. I'm just glancing at some notes I had made. Yeah, we're just trying to control things and stuff. So once we get to that deep, calm, matter of fact, just it's very matter of fact. It's very, yeah. It's time for me to change now. I'm different now. It's almost like a combination between knowing that you're ready for change and kind of already having done the change internally. Like, that's when you know it's going to start manifesting into your life soon. And don't get attached to that. Don't, I this is the catch 22 with spirituality sometimes. It's like, like, I want to explain how things work, but I also know that ego is looking for something to latch onto. So I'm like, hey, you'll probably start seeing the external circumstances soon. And then I can hear the ego go, oh, good. I get what I want. It's like, oh crap. No, don't don't go down that road, because it's just gonna prevent what you want to experience from experiencing, coming into your experience. It's like as soon as you disconnect from this and attach to that, now you're off track again, right? So spiritual change is internal. Once we change the aspects of ourselves, once if it's like let's say it's abundance that we want. If we want more abundance in our lives, like once we start to learn to value ourselves and that abundance is our birthright and that it's God's good grace to give us the keys of the kingdom. We don't have to pry him out of his hand. And that we are loved and supported beyond measure. Like once we really get that and we get rid of any of the old, oh, money is the root of all evil and rich people are selfish. Once we get rid of those types of deep-seated belief systems, perhaps from our childhood, we get rid of those and we just embody abundance and prosperity. Like once we do that, and it's just our vibration is different. How we carry ourselves is different. What we know to be true is just different. And we're comfortable with it. There. That's when the change really happens. So hopefully you guys will get some insights out of this. And it will help you on your journey to become a better version of you, And speaking of which, I guess what a beautiful segue. So I just created a new course, Creating the Ideal You, and it's got 7 pre-recorded videos. So I walk you through every aspect of it step by step. And so you can really wrap your brain around the process and everything. And I also created some PDFs and links where you can download actual tools to keep with you, physical tool, also a digital tool that you can keep on your phone for a customizable wallpaper for your phone. So you can have this little tool I created. You can have it with you all the time to help your consistency and bring in the whatever change you're trying to make, becoming a better version of you. That's why it's called Creating the Ideal You. So I just launched that today. So you guys can find that on my website, glennambrose.com. And at a special introductory price. It's nice and cheap. $25, man. For now, it'll go up, but for now, $25, you can get all this. So check that out. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So let me know if I can be of service. Don't hesitate. It's so interesting to me. I get people reaching out to me here and there. And many of you have listened to me for years and years and years, and you haven't reached out. And it's just, it always goes so wonderful once people do reach out. And I understand not everybody's ready, but if you think you might be, that probably means that you actually are. I mean, honestly, like it should, because there's just that fear and trepidation that elongates things. If you're thinking that you're ready, you probably are, so give it a shot, reach out. And if you don't like what transpires, that's okay. It's okay. You can have your life back exactly the way it was. There's really no risk. Reach out, say hi, reach out, find out if I have any openings to work with people one-on-one, or if I have any groups going on, or simply ask a question, whatever, man, whatever. Just, I'm here. I'm just a person just like you. It's not that big of a step. Although it seems like it because you guys listen to me all the time. The first call is often interesting because like I'm fine, but the other person is just used to the podcast with a one-way conversation. Now all of a sudden they're talking to me and it's a little bit weird at first, but usually after about 15 minutes to a half an hour, we get right through that. And it gets really freaking comfortable and enjoyable. So, and even that, it's not that it's not enjoyable, it's just that it's weird, you know? The dynamic is just different. Takes a few minutes to get used to it. So, all right, peeps. Great chatting with you. Take care. Let me know if I can help. And peace.